What exactly is going on in Geneva at the World Health Organization, and how do we get so far down the road of it looks like signing something that's going to expand the sovereignty, the ability of the World Health Organization in Geneva, controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, to affect the sovereignty of the United States of America?
That's right. It's hard to believe, Steve, but in less than 2 weeks' time, a vote will take place in Geneva, Switzerland at the World Health Assembly. They're important because they're the governing body of the World Health Organization, WHO. This authority that they would be given would impact 99.4% of all the people in the world. There are 193 nations belonging to the UN. The Biden administration is bringing amendments that would propose that all nations of the earth cede their sovereignty over national health care decisions to the WHO, the World Health Organization. So what this would mean, Steve, is that the WHO would have decision-making authority to intervene into the United States government policy in any nation of the world without our permission. So, for instance, the lockdowns where you see 26 million people today locked down in Shanghai, China, they can't leave their apartments or homes. The WHO would have the authority to be able to impose that here in the United States for whatever pretext they want. They don't have to show data, they could do this. What this does, Steve, bottom line, is it creates a platform for global governance. Global governance through the WHO. This is what people need to know. It's time sensitive. No one knew about this. The Biden administration gave these proposed amendments to the World Health Organization on January 18th. No one in America knew this until April 12th, less than a month ago. The Biden administration posted these amendments. But in less than 2 weeks in Geneva, Switzerland, the delegates will vote on this. The Biden administration has already released a list of countries, 40 of the most powerful countries in the world, including Canada, including the EU, including the UK, including Australia. These countries are going along with the Biden administration's insane push to give sovereignty over the untrustworthy WHO. Again, this creates a platform for global governance. So it's extremely important. The vote is going to take place in less than 2 weeks. And no one effectively knows about this happening, but people are starting to know. So it's important now that we get to Kevin McCarthy, the leader in the House, Mitch McConnell, the leader in the Senate, and demand that they drop everything and have a joint press conference and say nothing is going to happen in the United States government until Joe Biden drops these amendments and agrees that we will not give a U.S. sovereignty away to the UN. This is the biggest global power grab that we have ever seen in our lifetimes. And if this goes through, nothing else matters, because the vote that takes place May 22nd through 28th in Geneva, Switzerland, goes into effect in November, which means it won't matter which party wins the elections in November, because global authority will have already transferred to the WHO. That's why this is so important, and it's why we have to get the U.S. Senate involved, the U.S. House involved, so they stop this dead in its tracks right now, or we lose authority here in the United States.
Okay, we're going to get the numbers up. And I just want to, before we let you go, you were in town, you walked around, you know a lot, you're very connected in this town. The Republicans were completely clueless about this. Do you think that's because they want to be clueless? I mean, how could you miss something this big? Did they want to be clueless, or do you think they're absolutely just didn't understand what was going on here?
Steve, I lived in that world. They live in a bubble. The bubble is called money. It's the mother's milk of politics. And so what they're focused on is boosting the money that they're bringing in for their elections this fall. That's what it's all about. And so they have to forget about that and realize there's a country to save, and we have very little time. This vote is in less than 2 weeks in Geneva, Switzerland. And so this is why this is the whole thing. If Kevin McCarthy is going to be leader this fall, And if Mitch McConnell is going to be leader this fall, they've got to be leaders today. And the leadership that they have to exercise is make sure that all of the Republicans in the House, all of the Republicans in the Senate need to know about this global governance power grab. And they need to have a joint press conference and say, we're not going to pass a bill. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to vote for $33 billion for Ukraine. You're getting zero, zip, nada. In fact, we're not even going to give you a quorum. We're not going to show up until you make sure these amendments don't get offered at the World Health Assembly, May 22nd through 28th. It's that serious. This is real. I will tell you, as a dean of the Graduate School of Government at Regent University, as a former member of Congress, as a former candidate for the United States president, I will tell you, this isn't just our hair on fire. This is real. This is the greatest attack we have ever had on United States sovereignty. And the vote is scheduled to go down May 28th, 22nd through 28th. And I believe they already have the votes. So the clock is striking 11:59. And we've got to get the Republican leadership involved to stop this. The Democrat leadership won't. The Republican leadership has to get involved, sound the alarm, and they got to stop this thing. As a matter of fact, because of the appearance I had with you last week on War Room, Steve, I had constituents with Representative Pete Sessions, who represents Waco, Texas. He called me Saturday in the middle of the day because his room was filled with constituents. They wanted him to get involved and stop this. He had no idea what was going on. So he and I talked about it on the phone. I sent him a column that explained what was going on. I told him, you've got to go to Kevin McCarthy. You've got to let Kevin McCarthy know. They don't know. They're clueless because they're all busy focusing on the here and now, which is raising money so that they can win re-election this fall. But this is the here and now. We cannot allow Joe Biden to give away American sovereignty and really all 193 nations of the world sovereignty to the hapless World Health Organization, which is essentially a subsidiary of the Communist Chinese Party government. And they will then have authority over the United States, over us, and we will effectively be vulnerable to losing our freedom to the WHO.
Congressman Bachmann, how do people get you on social media, and how do they get to you at your location at the School of Government at Regent?
Sure. People can contact me, M. Bachmann, BACHMANN, at Regent, REGENT.edu, or on any social media at Michelle Bachmann. 1 L in Michelle, 2 N's in Bachmann.
Congressman Bachmann, thank you very much. Honored to have you on here.